It's your freedom birthday. There we go. Yo, nope. We're not gonna do this again. We're not gonna do this again. And now discard. Alright, we're gonna go with this phone. We go live from Shaman Remo. Live. Self love. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. It's okay. That's time for hope. We help other people leave Bob with our jokes. That's like with tea. Yes, you really. That's PhD.
What's up, PhD?
That is my engineer. Well, drink water, babe. That water, babe. Drink water, babe. Shout out to them. Engage with them for getting a dope ass cake and water machine. pH for the balance. Ooh. I shot that water, babe. This day 4, man. How everybody doing? Share this. We're gonna be talking about listening to the body. We got some exciting news. Ease body. Nah, that goes with it. Leo Mercer. Like that's why I put them on our reels and shit, so I get to hear reminded of the people, places, and things that we fuck with. What up? Let me put it over there. Now all the play. You gonna do this one? Hey Boomy.
Hey Boomy.
Hey Boomy.
How's it going, Boomy?
Hey Boomy. It's going divinely well. Like today has been a blessing. A 369. We woke up to snow this morning.
Hell yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing. I've never seen snow like that before.
Hey, for real?
For real.
Hey.
For real. I've never heard snow fall on grass before.
Ah.
I've never seen it snow like that before. Maybe once or twice when I was really young. But
Okay.
besides that, no.
It said it was 100% chance of snowing today,
So good.
which was awesome, and it didn't let us down. You talk about the grass. I would love it if you like give your analogy or your antidote on the grass.
Just how we are grass and it's programmed in us to thrive.
Favorite analogy and antidote on grass.
Because you said you love it. I appreciate that.
I do. Like I've heard it so much.
It is a grounding reminder of how it's programmed in the DNA of grass to thrive. It's programmed in life to know how to thrive in all life forms. So grass is definitely a simple life form that we can look at and just see how everything's interconnected. So if grass knows how to thrive, if it's implanted into the DNA of grass to know how to thrive, we know how to do it too. Absolutely.
That was like a shortened version of it. Yeah, this was the updated version of it. I enjoyed that. It's not like being able to. The better you can get your message, or the more effective. Like Twitter made it so that 140 characters you should be able to get off a thought.
Right.
Facebook said, "What's on your mind?"
What, 18 seconds for a thought to get conveyed? It takes about
Yes.
140 characters to read a thought,
So,
or to get a decent thought out there.
So 18 seconds. Every 18 seconds, you got to think that we're on like a interesting timelines. And what I mean by that, like you can tell a story or an antidote, and it takes people on a journey That's what we're doing right now. Like, shout out to Josiah, because everybody thought the video that we put from last year, February time, was baby Imani. I mean, everybody thought it was ours.
Makes sense. It does make sense.
Yeah, it does. Like, it didn't make sense to me because I was actually there and I said Josiah and I said number 8, but nobody really reads captions, so that just talks about. I take that back. Not everybody reads captions.
And that goes back to how talking about how Ye is a visual artist. Like, people are very caught by the visuals of things.
Very much so.
Uh-huh.
That's why we got galaxies. We got the galaxies everywhere. I got the galaxies on our all black, and in having the galaxies, peace to Lo-Fi, dope Northside representative, being able to see the visual artists or the expression artists express themselves, and in their expression, called stimuli, and like dopeness. Your body is expressing itself to you. When we have these conversations at our studio, this is a mobile studio. We got 2 Macs, we got 2 phones, one for the TV, one for the home. We got 2 phones. We're broadcasting to several different places. We're expressing ourselves. That statement that I did today was just expressing my love for my children, in the best way possible without giving as much air to it or sound to it. I give a lot of, like, I make social media sorcery. I make SMSs, and the reels just show how I keep it real.
Right.
Yeah,
real.
I know how I keep it real. Like, they just changed the A and put an extra E. Just like when I say C, I spell it SEA. And they're like, that's the sea of the water. Okay. They mean the same thing, English. But like, knowing what wordplay is a very big way MCs play with the visuals of people's consciousness when we're performing. And that's what Ye does. This is day 4. This is like our air, how we start our day, how we exchanges, how we do our rituals. We definitely got to go to sleep and do the meditation, the visualization together.
Yeah, this is day 4 of creating manifestations for our free birth that we have been preparing for these past couple of weeks. I can definitely feel myself getting closer. I'm sleepy. I'm feeling my body is definitely giving me signs and signals that the due date's on the 6th, so it's 3 days away now.
Yeah, this day is over, so tomorrow be the 3rd, 3-3. And you just walked like 1.5 miles, 2 miles today, didn't you?
Yeah. But
yeah.
It didn't feel like I should.
No, it's not. I didn't say that.
No. I know what you mean. Like, I'm not saying that you're saying I should. Like, it didn't feel like there was any need to resist doing that in my body. You know what I mean?
Yeah, walking is good.
Yeah.
For when you get into these last moments, your body.
There's no. I mean, I'm gonna be pushing a baby out of my body, like, in terms of physical movement and physical labor. Like, I don't think it makes sense to just completely stop and freeze everything up.
I feel you. So like.
But I don't know. I don't know if there's. I don't know what the conventional way to be pregnant is. And there's been nothing conventional about this pregnancy.
Absolutely not. They put people on bed rest, like, towards the end. They're like, because bed rest will slow down, like, the birthing. We will be full term, 40 weeks on the 6th. We could have had the baby anytime within the past few weeks.
And we could have it anytime after. We really don't.
Absolutely, baby Imani is going to come in divine timing. But what I do know, there's a lot of people going into surgeries. There's a lot of people that, when I put that post about the child, I just wanted to see how much attention people were actually paying towards what I did, right? Like, my therapist said I should go into a silent mode. I haven't really taken any one-on-one customers or clients or partners to have phone calls. We kind of had our last bit of calls for the week, but we went all in with social media aspect. We spent a lot of time with Donda, the spirits, the ancestors, Chief Joseph Geronimo,
Mm-hmm.
and I just expressed myself. You express yourself through physical acts. You express, like, even when you came outside and you heard the snow, you're like, yeah, the snow makes a sound. I'm like, I'm looking at the snow and I'm trying to see the snow in the camera. I'm like, I don't see the snow in the camera. So it's just, what are you stimulated by, and how can you express that with the world? We talked a lot about yesterday with financials and our day three. The people that know that this baby is moving along, it's almost here, and the people that want to come in and take up space or discuss the unfoldment of monies or how we express or how we communicate. I bring that up because I know manifestation uh, deals with a lot of clearing out space of outdated agreements, and it makes space for new sound agreements or clarity. This baby is, yeah, we're not doing nothing conventional. And I mean, you had a dope bath today.
I was like falling asleep and it was awesome. It was like water going up my nose, and I was just. I was so at peace. I was like, this doesn't bother me at all. It was just chilling right here, like, the level of peace and ease that my body is moving into. I'm like, I'm gonna just take every moment to chill that I can, because you know, looking at looking at the looking at the totality of the situation that we're at, there's one thing for certain, and it is that this baby is coming out of my body in a very short amount of time. That's a given, and that is an absolute given. And considering that that is an absolute given, there's a certain level of just, there's a lot of things that there's a lot of thoughts that have been going through my mind that I've been observing, and being in the situation. This is a very new situation. This is a new experience for me, and it being a new experience, and it also being something that happened in a very rapid succession with a very I mean, when you tell people that you're building out solutions to create new systems of governance, it just inherently has this, like, what are you talking about? Why are you saying that? So having that intentionality behind my life's purpose, that's between our missions as well, like our shared mission. And then this being my first child, and everything is spirit. So spiritually, my body has been preparing to have a baby. I started carrying things on my hips starting a couple years ago. In the car, I started going like this. Anytime, even if there wasn't somebody there, if I stepped on the brake too hard, I just started going like that, and I was like, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that kind of hurts.
Sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, that's cool. No, no, finish your thought. You're Muay Thai.
Yeah, I know. I got elbows. But so, and you know, it's like growing up, my mental conditioning was very heavily programmed, and I was breaking a lot of generational attachments, a lot of generational attachments is the best word for it, I think.
Agreements, attachments,
Yeah,
the
whatever.
programming.
Yeah,
Hey, like,
agreements
so,
is a good one too.
So,
And so I am in a position now where I grew up atheist. I didn't even have any faith, even though in my even though in my core, like, I've always known I've always understood and understood what faith was. I just didn't know how to articulate it. Now we're just in a position of I'm just completely letting go of the how and just remembering that this child is a blessing that is like there's something about Imani that everybody can feel is truly incredible, and on a scale of when Jesus was born,
Jesus,
on that kind of scale.
my Jesus was,
and
Jesus was, la la la
like
la.
I surrender. I know that we're covered. I know that we're good.
And the dope thing about when you say the covering, I grew up with faith. Like we talked yesterday about how we may not have grew up. My mom didn't wait 16 years to have me, like your parents did.
They planned for 16. They planned for. They started dating. They dated for 8 years, and then they waited for 8 years to have me. And they planned it. And they did all this genetic testing and shit.
Yeah, I found another one. That's pretty dope. Where did I get this one from? We manifested 2 of these for the tents. But yeah, your family planned for having a child financially. My mom was a young 21-year-old that ran into my dad that was out there robbing banks, selling doogie, drugs, had his own gang and crew of individuals. But my grandmother and grandpa from my mom's side were very they had their rituals. We had our ceremonies. We utilized faith, and in that, my prayer game is through the roof. Like my prayer has the power to penetrate all problems. And the thing about prayer is just the act of delivering some form of arithmetic, geometry, music, language, some form of exchange in sound with the intent, a loving intent of I care for this to happen. Like I want to catch a baby Imani in a safe, conducive. What I mean by safe, a spiritually cleansed place,
Peaceful,
peace-filled.
Man, I was sitting in the bath today, and I was like, I want to be in water.
So you're gonna be in water.
I want to be in water. That shit.
So we're gonna catch baby Imani underwater, big pool status.
Or bathtub.
I'm
real easy. I'm realizing I'm real easy.
So that's one of the reasons why we come here and we pray for donations. We pray for investments and seeds, right? And one of the things about praying, it's like they tell you to pray without ceasing. And some people may pray like, oh, dear God, give us some. No, ancestors, this is what we desire. Grandpa, grandma, Auntie Renee, Josito, Chico, yeah,
we desire an Airbnb.
We desire to have our doulas paid for. We desire to catch the baby. I mean, I do desire to have the baby in water. I desire to catch the baby. Go see to it. And if we do that for 18 seconds, right? And we think about it, and 2 of us are doing our 18 seconds and multiply to 36 seconds. And what happens is more thoughts and ideas come towards our energetic field.
They get drawn and magnetized.
And our energetic fields, they have circles and dots or lines to another circle. Like your circle has a line and several bridges. Like, you know how it is from going from Oakland to the city or from Jersey to the city. There's a bridge, right? That bridge is the connecting point for 2 different worlds because you go over a body of water.
Quantum mechanics.
Super lit. So every one of our fields of influence have a bunch of bubbles connected to it. And how close we have people. Like, there's some people that have our numbers. There's some people that we only talk through Instagram or Facebook. There's certain people that we talk to every day. What I mean by communicate or talk to, send messages. We like
They're
dream
on our
about like
they're on our mind.
yo, grandma went in. Like grandma she was having a fit and I ain't tell you about this dream yet last night that my grandma was in fucking just being spoiled. Just being a brat, bro. Like and what I meant by that is like we're doing magic. And we're going to places and setting up and doing magic and she's like, I don't want to do this. I just want to sit here. What you mean? Like and she had just got dropped off from her sister. And it was like, what you mean? Like we gotta do these things to get to the next step. If you don't want to come, you can stay there. Like I'll be back for you, but this is not where it ends. And my one of my cousins from Jersey, he was in my dream. You haven't met this cousin. His name is Trevor, and I sent him a message. But even like when we talk about becoming codependent, I'm not. I'm focused on being as independent to our line of connection versus the line of connections I grew up with and the rituals I grew up with. So it's awesome to see what levels of influence is happening by us sending out these prayers.
Cutting the etheric cords.
Cutting the cords, charging cords up that need to be put in place because everyone benefits from this baby. My rich dad told me about Jesus when Jesus was born in the manger. The kings came bringing frankincense, myrrh, and gold. I'll always remember that shit because he did that at the point of we were offering to do my seventh child, baby lady London, and Janice to offer their blessed way inside of their house to capture all of that vibration, that energy. It was beautiful. We thanked them for it, but that's a ritual, that's a ceremony. And like whenever you break bread with people, you create that bonds and that union. So that's why even in a dream, my grandmother like she wanted to sit down and break bread, but I'm like, look, I gotta go to this next mission. So it's like I'm not cutting no cords from my grandma. It's like that's the headline of energy in our family. I know how to calibrate chords.
One of the things that I was, when it comes to cutting cords is not. I think cutting cords is it's a form of attachment as opposed to a form of connection. Cutting cords doesn't like being able to cut cords from all of those that you love gives you full access and influence to your own energetic field. You're able to radiate your energetic field without having different pulls on it in multiple places.
Yeah, and that's the dopeness about the level. Like it's evolution. Like they've been cutting cords for centuries, decades. I know how to calibrate the cord. I calibrated when I just started talking to you about it. You get to read the energy and you share your sounds and your feelings. I didn't share with you throughout the entirety of the day because I already know it's any woman that comes into our world, you feel their pull on our sounds. Like yeah, my grandma, she's doing what she knows how to do with the magic at the best of her abilities. So is our mom and dads. I know how to let them know I am not attached to this cord. Thank you for showing me your message. Breaking bread, the ceremony. Like it was a very vivid, my dreams for the past few days have been very vivid because we set the intention. We started praying. I told you my grandma is the one that taught us how to pray in this lifetime. And she's been around several of the children and we created the agreement that she was going to be around this one. The amount of space and capacity that was held for her over these past few weeks and months, there wasn't that much. It's one of the biggest things about being like a Geronimo or an indigenous vibration. You get to pick and choose who you want to put all of your attention into. I knew that we were shocked and surprised back in July when my grandma wanted to come with us and move with us, July, June timeframe. But we stepped in because we're her eldest grandchild. Like that's the matriarch of our family that have she supplies the green portal sauce.
Mhm.
You got to know what well you come from. Like and like I was an egg inside of her when she was pregnant with my mom. So like I have loyalties just like you have loyalties, and it's awesome. We're making like space. Like my grandma, most of her friends are dead, so we get bandwidth and space from a lot of her friends that I don't call out their names, Sister Vivian, Darlene, unless I need to. They're wealthy, well off, they're good. But I remember I was telling my grandma that, like, yo, uh, all your friends are dead and they're around me all the time. That's why you think I'm your friend. And I'm like, oh, you think I'm your grandson, but I'd rather be your husband. Not in a nasty way, but in a magical way of maturity because our communities need it. Um, that's one of the dopest things about like that's why I shared with you. I was like I praised you this morning. I empowered, and I talked about your ability to grow. This process, I haven't done it in this body. You said something to me when you was in the bath. What was that you said to me when you was in the tub and you looked at me and you did like when you cut on your like we're gonna call it charm. We're gonna call it charm for the sake of this vibrational exchange. When I came up and put the water, what did you say?
Girl, no. I think I said you're magical. Is that what I said?
Outside of that, you said something about me and you.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I felt how we have done this before. How I think one of the things that I felt very strongly when we first met each other, and also I know that I was spiritually preparing for my twin flame. So I know that that's the vibrational escrow that we that we that we hold.
Sacrifice.
Um, I distinctly recalled the feeling of us having done this before, of us.
She just ate her blood, by the way.
Yeah, do that.
Balenciaga.
It's not so much intentionally eating my blood, but
But that's what it is, though. What you mean, though?
it's using the enzymes of the saliva to stop the bleeding.
I got you. But then you put it in your mouth, and what's the intent of putting your thumb to your tongue is eating your blood.
I don't mind the way it tastes.
Most people that have a bloody nose or if they get a cut, they can do that if they're okay with it's their blood.
Mm-hmm.
So I just pointed that out and I shared that because I looked at you and said we did this a lot of times before.
Definitely.
It's just a matter of us getting to this moment and being okay with all of the other distractions so that we can hear each other and see each other.
But even in that, like all the other distractions were there in the past as well. Like
I'm talking about just the distractions of this world. Like when you said you had looked at me when we first met and then you like you shut the feeling off, you shut the charm off. And I don't ever really shut my charm off unless it's like it's not a spiritually mature place to do it, if that makes sense. If the person is underage, if like I need to raise it from the lower chakras to the higher chakras. So like I knew when I first heard you say the Malcolm X thing, I was like, oh, she can get it in the astral world on a sense of our sacred energy exchanges will be dope, not just the physical one, but the intimacy of our communications, our conversations. So I just know getting to this point, knowing how to communicate the knowledge and wisdom from those other worlds. It has to like go through all of this filtering process, and yeah, they belong, but there's an infinite amount of potentials of how it unfolds.
Right, and the dope thing is it's an interesting collide of worlds because it's like this is my Saturn return, so the Saturn return is always a tumultuous it's a tumultuous time. It's a tumultuous season, and you are in your. I've been through it. I know what's going on. I've had enough experience to be like, this is my reclaim time. So the way that our worlds are intersecting is I'm in this place of like, I'm in my ultimate chaos, and you're in your I'm in my ultimate come up.
Yeah.
And utilizing the chaos from my world to transmute it into utilizing it for the come up, and me being able to be be, be aligned and strengthen my spiritual escrow during this time, while that process provides fuel for your vibrational come up, which, because we're in union and we're creating union not just in family and in baby, but in business and mission, it propels us very, very far forward and very quickly as well.
Quantum. For those that don't know what a Saturn return is, that's your first 27 years. That's your first set of nines, like your life cycles in nines. Numbers only go through 1 through 9, and then everything after that repeats the different angles, right? So at 27, you're considered to have your first 27 years is your formative years. You create like your sense of who you are. And the thing about most Gen X's, Gen Y's, all those gens after the boomers did something that their parents like capitalized on, and they superimposed their worlds onto their children and their children's children.
Right.
So by the time you get to 27, you have a bunch of agreements and programs that don't go with your program. You're like, yo, I'm a fucking adult, so rah!
Bro, and the thing is, and I know for me is because I had a lot of that programming baked underneath me, and this year it was like, all right, it's time to.
That was the boot camp. That was the pulling back the band-aid, peeling the layers of onions. So what we went through in a year, it took me like 4 years to go through. I was utilizing other people that had went through their Saturn returns, people that were older, but they didn't fully like compose their social constructs or their colonization. So like they would see me and be like, "Oh, you're such a free butterfly." Yeah, because like I had a fucking mental health breakdown at 33 after like 6 years of trying to be myself after being have my own, like I told you, I've been a free bird. I was in a club at 2 and 3 years old. My mom was a young mom, so it was like I was around a lot of music. I was around a lot of video games. I was like the generation that first started getting raised on the video games. Like the video game was my babysitter. Technology was my babysitter. So the stuff that was baked into me was a little bit more cynical, a little bit more magical. And what I mean by cynical and magical, my mom, she used her powers so immaculately. Like you wouldn't even know that she's using them or she's using power. You're thinking that she's being nice. Corn magic. You think she's being charming or sweet. Like these are things. Charisma is a real thing. It's in video games. Like the characteristics and traits that you have in video games, these are characteristics and traits that I learned to superimpose on like the person or being that I'm in. So our Saturn returns because now I call it power level.
Absolutely. Well, it's like the amount of power, like what happened to you in 5 years happened to me within the span of a year.
Yep, because like I was already on go. Like I slowed down a lot for this baby. I usually slow down whenever it's baby time. I make sure that like my ancestors make sure we can get wherever to get to the baby, like whatever it takes. We go in, and because of the choices that we make, there's always a choice. The choices that we make allow us to have the outcomes that are best suited. Where we talk about it all belongs.
And the other thing is also that my avatar, I require a great deal of attention and energy, which I love. I think that growing up, being me, etc. Like I give that much attention and energy to myself.
Yeah.
I give that amount of space and energy to myself, and it's not like I expect you to this and that. It's just because I like
Feel you touch me.
Yeah.
No, she does expect it, and that's where we run into the biggest crossroad. I'm not giving that shit. I don't have it because am in my stage. This is my ninth child. This isn't my first child. This is my first child and doing a free birth. I don't have the attention to give her that. So we put a village around it. I haven't had the attention or space to give my last four children's mom that. And I don't feel bad about it because she still pulls massive amount of tension from the people that raised her and the network that they have. That's why the Sevens and the Keys and the Blancas and the Canitas, yeah, they come up, and the Desirees, they come up at the Leos, Tsunami, they come up and they offer their space and attention in the best way that they know how. Because your magic, like I've watched you, because your magic is so on all the time, you go into teacher mode. And because you go into that teacher mode, you give away the attention that they should be giving to us. Like I watched it, and like that's why we're calling it all in. Like that's why I just showed you my rich dad. Remember we did my rich dad post over by the James. Oh, my rich dad think he playing. He got the wrong one, nigga. Like I don't wear this turban on my head for no reason. My hair braided. What that mean? I braided my hair in cornrows.
Oh, you asking?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Oh yeah, when they braid their hair, it's go time.
Go time, like battle. There's some form of battle that's happening, and ultimately I battle myself on how we power level, how we get quiet, how we listen. So like I bring the attention that we're giving. I instead of giving it directly to Eve, my attention goes to the baby, and I don't have to touch her or communicate to her to communicate to the baby. It's in there broadcasting 24/7, 24/7. And today, for instance, because we have that 24/7 bond, I have that bond with 8 of my other children. And like divvying it up for a divine partner that these 8 children are part of her family as well, but she's also birthing. Um, we have these blow ups. Like luckily Kanye came through, and our blow up today was like I watched him show up to his daughter's basketball game and the energy off of Kim, and I listened to our conversations by Baby Ye, aka Phase One, and I know that because you know how to give attention and take attention, like the more attention you give to yourself and the baby, the more stuff you do, like it rubs off, and then I'll give that attention to it. Like, cause
I mean,
yo, what you did with the poking, right? Like, if you tell people what you just did with the poking when you say you don't expect that attention, because we're in an opposite world, right? Like the poking is an expression of their will. That's the magic wand, and it's like I don't expect that attention, but opposite. Give me more attention. I'm 3 days out, nigga. Give me more. I'm like, all right. Which is awesome because, like I said, that's the growth, and we learn how to. I get to be a more effective power leveler, and like I like being a parent, and parenting this baby is for me. I have to be on my spiritual game.
right. Well, and the thing is that in the mode of slowing down is like being able to focus your attention. Just you being able to focus your attention on what it is that you're building. I was taking a walk today, and when I'm on my walks is when I have the most clarity. I really, this time of, I enjoy spending a lot of my time alone, and I was very used to spending that time alone. being in a position now where um, being able to create alone time in your mental space, and really appreciating the alone time that you do have when you go on these walks. Or it's very sacred and it's very valuable information. I was taking a walk today and I was thinking about how solutions, like that sense of stillness that comes when you take time for yourself and you really focus on what it is that you need to do for you, because you have your own space and you have your own energy around you and you engage with the world however, but your intention is to be alone in that moment. You can hear with a very strong sense of clarity what it is that you desire to create or to manifest and what the next steps forward are. And it's very the goal is to be as balanced and aligned as possible. It's engaging with the physical world is the challenge that we've been brought here to do. And part of that challenge is being in a state of able to accept and balance the calibrations of all of the emotions that we feel. And so when we balance those emotions, we allow ourselves to see and listen and hear the solutions that come to mind, because voices pass through, thoughts come through. They come through and they come through, and being able to observe them and then, but still always come back to like, I know everything's good. I know that I'm good. I know that the internal sense of knowing is always on and always there. The solutions are always present and always available. It's just a matter of, am I slowing down enough to be able to listen to them? Being able to, this is bringing you back to the focus. Being still allows us to listen, which allows us to focus our energy and our thoughts, and where we put our focus to ultimately is what ends up manifesting. Being able to focus straight and narrowly about what it is that you need to do and be able to negate distractions, while also I see how humans are evolving. We're no longer just humans. People are getting ADHD and all these kinds of things, and right now the general population views ADHD as a mental health disorder. But when the perspective is flipped, it's our consciousness evolving to be able to move at a more rapid fire pace, and being able to focus on a specific intention or a specific sense of knowing and utilizing all of those different focuses, that all of those distractions as energy to propel us to stay focused.
Right, I wrote one of my dopest tracks today. With after you came back from your walk, even us waking up and doing rituals, me checking in, how you feel, where you feel it at, okay, what you feeling. These questions are bringing the attention to the body, and then she's exchanging like the feelings with me, and they're creating images. I told you every one of your hand movements. We just talked about this. We have big bubbles that go way outside of our body, and everything done in the bubble. Like I gave you the rock for a reason. Like, but everything done in the bubble creates um, a new set of variables. Um, when you came back, we had dope ideas about how we're playing this video game. Yay, had a video on about him playing and engaging in the video game. Uh, I know the more, like you say, focused you are and attached to what your mission is. What is the objective? What are you doing? And I'm like, I wake up every morning. Today was just continuously being happy. Now you brought up a story how you walked to a place and you walked to a food pantry, and in that, like, there was nothing in it, and then you sat there and just felt good about it. It's okay.
I have everything. I have enough.
I have enough. And within 5 minutes, they pulled up and they filled it up, and we were able to get first dibs. You were able to get first dibs. That's the same thing. Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you. Bless you.
And that's the thing. When you pray for something, you have to know that whatever you already have. Like, I'm grateful for this spot here with, like I said, childhood friend. I get to watch my goddaughter like grow up into this great debater. Um, I got a top 5 of moms, right? Like, everybody got their mom that they love. I got my friends' moms that we're the same age or around the same age, so they're like a mom to me as well. Um, like, I get to engage with them, and it's like they have another son. It's authentic love that comes. So I can be grateful for that, or I could be fearful of that not having that I'm praying for that. And I, from a magical standpoint, praise as if you already have it.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was feeling. I think I remember a conversation either that we listened to or that we had where a prayer is not something that you do and think that you may or may not receive it. A prayer is something that you are actively aware of the fact that you already have. You're just now in a position of calling it in.
Affirmation, affirming of it, the agreements with it, and that's where life, when you ask for certain things that you want and you don't want, life gives you a opportunity to use your skills. And in the video game, you use your magic powers. You press your buttons, and you're rewarded with what? Experience. That's what knowledge leads to wisdom. You're presented with this contrast. For us, the contrast being having a place to Airbnb or a nice hotel with a nice tub, having the funds for the doula. We're presented with this task where someone said they was going to take care of it, but then was like, nah, y'all ain't doing it my way, so we good. I'm still happy because I know it's taken care of.
Right.
Like, regardless, like I know it. You can't, that's where the faith comes in. And then talking about the levels of separation that we affect, I'm watching all the people that, similar to you, desire large amounts of attention. And because you feel that attention for them, when you get space, or when they feel us in the atmosphere, they call for that. The same thing with me. I get notifications, ding, ding, ding. So instead of getting distracted with these, I'm focusing them. I'm taking their messages and guiding it back to our birthing, guiding it back to our free birth, guiding it back. I'm guiding it wherever I desire to. That's the great thing about an MC. And also with the expression artist, that you express yourself. And if you know you're expressing yourself. Even if you're telling another story, it's from your POV, and like this is our story that we're gonna ignite the whole stratosphere, because I'm letting everybody know that we're having a free birth. And in this free birth, like, number 8 is there, but number 9 is going to be amazing. And number 9 name is, like, everybody's calling it a girl, right? And the dope thing about it, like, I'm like, yo, what if it comes out with a penis? Right. So like that is the awesomeness of, oh, y'all gonna change your name? No, it's still gonna be Imani.
Imani is Jimmy.
Yeah, bro, it means faith. Like, all of the social norms, it comes out and it breaks the construct. So that I look at those things to be excited. I'm constantly getting updates of, like, little Taoist, Asian, Blasian, Tiger Woods babies that look like a older Imani. So this is a beautiful time to be alive and to have so many forms of distraction, but be mature enough to use your distractions accordingly. I told somebody, I was like, I hope you're using your 86,400 seconds effectively, because that's the only way your prayers is going to work. Because if you pray and you ask for prayer, you get prayer, and then you spend 80,000 of your seconds worrying on what you don't have and opposite of what you pray for, guess what you're going to get?
And the thing is that people, you can ask the questions like, well, what do I do with all of those moments? You can study things that you want to engage with, research and development. You can dance outside. You can do breath work. You can take a nap. Like,
You
it's
literally can do anything other than
worry.
opposite and worry and complain.
Right. You can do anything that makes you feel good in the moment.
Bruh, like, what you mean? Anything that makes you feel good. So it's like, I knowing that you have enough and knowing that you're in a blessed position, it comes off airy fairy. But if you, I put the science to it. This is quantum physics, and I'm blessed to be my age, and I'm blessed for you to be your age, because it bridges the gap, just like the San Francisco Bridge and Oakland. It bridges that body of water, which is the consciousness. The consciousness is the body of water. It bridges that, because when you walk out, you go into all these people's consciousnesses. When you do your research, you go into these consciousnesses. So you could choose with technology to see what consciousnesses you decide that you want to go into. Like I this is the thing. That's my secret to my social media sorcery. We woke up this morning, my homie Juno, we went into Black Mamba consciousness. And I was like, he's like, every Monday he get up and do Mamba mentality. Like, he'll put on some videos where they're talking about Kobe. So we're watching videos where people are telling stories about Kobe. And these are stories, some I've heard and some I haven't. But because we're talking about Kobe, like, it's Kobe and Gigi. Kobe, not just the basketball player, but the prophet for our people, for the heavily melanated, because he was assassinated.
Right, and the thing is like, he's not even a prophet for the heavily melanated. He's a prophet for the people who desire to really like grow.
I share that as far as the leaders for the heavily melanated indigenous. He is our people, like, being able to see. It's like just how we bridge each other's worlds. Being able to bridge yourself to like a leader. They say there's no leaders, but the leaders are who you can see as your Geronimo or your Chief Joseph. I wouldn't call myself It Man, but It Man was an inspiration.
Right.
And he's a prophet for the Taoist community. So, yes, Kobe is for anyone that's looking to grow, and he's directly a prophet for those that play basketball and they're heavily melanated, or they're in that culture. Because like, even a white person that grows up in the hood or from low income or grows up in AAU, they're in that culture. It's a different culture.
Well, I say that because it's like Kobe's been very heavy in my frequency, and in terms of the sphere of influence, like, I don't have to be a heavily melanated person or be heavily in a space of basketball, or I haven't been exposed to basketball to tremendously value and appreciate just that being.
Yeah, and that's why we don't. That's why we always interject. Our statements don't negate yours.
Right.
But your statement directly negated mine. Like, that's the most awesome thing to pay attention to. When you say that he's not this for our people, and I'm like, yeah, he is though.
I think I said not just.
No, you just said not only. He's not that. Like, it was negation, but it's cool though, because I told you I'm a programmer.
Well,
We can go back to the video.
It's a build upon, right? Because it's like, it's not just. I guess we could use different words, but it's a build upon, saying like, because it's not.
I know that was your intention, but that's not what you said. Like, it's cool though. You're tired, and we almost at the end of this video, and I'm talking high level conversation.
Yeah, it was intentionally a build upon. It's like absolutely, there's no doubt that he's a prophet for the melanated people. He's just a prophet, period.
Yeah,
and he's a prophet. Period.
And that's why it's dope, because like hearing, like, when people hear you talk, right, they get a whole set of different understanding. you have a level of influence on because your charisma and charm is through the roof. You what they call exotic. You have the innocent teacher look. You got the freckles, the hair. Like I watch you when you put your dragon stuff on. It's powerful, and it's the same thing with me when I start talking physics and philosophies and this, that, and the third. Like it's not really looked to come out of our frequency, but I know that I'm communicating to our child about it's Black History Month, and we're highlighting just like we put Etta James, we listen to Mahalia Jackson. I'm maximizing on the time that we're in. I know that he's more than that. That's why I said it. And then your build upon can build, but it's just like the but. And it's always wordplay. And I could have heard it wrong, but I'm going to definitely look back at about 45, 55 minutes to see and actually post that so that we can have the discussion. This is the purpose of us communicating. Uh, it may look like I don't ever like being like disagree with, but like I love when people disagree with me because it gives me an opportunity to debate my statement. I look forward to it. I'm not a fan of people yes man me. So the story that we gave about Kobe this morning, like you were processing some of the house vibrations. He just shared a whole like crazy ass vibrational story that is both positive, negative, and neutral. That threw salt into the communication, which is awesome because I saw it, I throw the pepper in. But like getting to our point where our child is going to come into a world where they have to know the parts of themselves. They have to. I desire for them to know about their indigenous, just like you desire for them to know about the Russian and and the Taoist. So being able to have that level of firmness in knowing you speak for what you speak and I speak for what I speak, but we meet somewhere in the middle because we're bridging the gap. I didn't take it personal, but I definitely knew what I was saying. And I feel a lot of my ancestors moving in everything I do right now. Like,
Yeah, and me building upon that statement is out of reverence, right? Because it's being able to it's being able to recognize a being for something outside of how society has created identity parameters around them.
you just that's why whitewashing was easy to do because of that statement.
It's a
Like,
positive, negative, neutral.
I know it is.
Yeah, positive, negative, neutral.
So I know where your reference is, and it's cool because
Because on on the whitewashing aspect of it, right? There's like whitewashing has this vibration of like we'll do it for the intention of taking and claiming as ownership. But if you have it with the intention of I recognize and have reverence for the fact that this is a being that has influence on other beings, and I give credit for all aspects of that being, including the fact that they're a melanated being. It's that's the full element. You take into account the identity. I know that the whole point of us coming down here on the physical plane is for us to learn how we are identified as within these modes of separation. I could list out all of these identity politics that I follow: Chinese, white, college educated, American born, X, Y, and Z. And the thing is that those learning what those identity politics have created as an algorithm within my avatar, and then breaking the rules, quote unquote. Like, I know what rules have been applied to my avatar, and so as I learn the different ways that those identity politics have created ways for me to engage with the world, the next level of that is actively breaking out of that and using those tools at the appropriate places.
We always talk about timing.
Yeah, and using them in the appropriate places and timing in order to facilitate the most effective elevation of consciousness.
Identity is what we're building the 2.7 million. And that's one of the biggest things. While we're here in Abayella, Turtle Island, I represent indigenous tribe leaders from all around. That everything we talked about today and what we watched right before we had this, talking about the music and the culture, um, watching you people, like it's a misappropriation of culture if you don't know how to stand on yours.
Right.
And
Exactly.
you get to move whenever someone says, well, I'm just building on. All right, cool. Well, build from where I just set my foot in stone. And I'm setting this anchor so that others that are similar makeup can be gravitated to it. Like my son is around a bunch of white boys because he grew up in Northern Virginia and he went to school with them, which is cool. But he dated white girls, which I don't have a problem with that. But like his level of identity, he had a white stepfather. His level of identity is skewed, like it's highly skewed, and that's my fault. I spent the majority of my life studying white America.
I mean,
I studied them from like their leaders. I didn't learn about my level or my grandfather's culture, Yoruba, and their people until I was in my 30s. So I speak from a different tongue, which like it's cool. And I like I said, I feel
like if he had, like I see what you mean. Like if he had been fully educated about his heritage and still chose to engage.
yeah, bro. Like he would engage with them from a different frequency other than what they feel comfortable with.
Right.
So like it's like, oh yeah, Kobe's just about like it, and similar on you people where it was like, yeah, I just wanted to be looked at as a person, but like that's what Lord London was. But you aren't just a person, you are a melanated person that's about to marry into a Jewish family that you're tripping all of their wires. Just like how when I come into your people's world, I'm tripping all of their wires. So like I know that finding the connection points in some of our titles and also the contrasting points, the compare and contrast, like having the things that are like, having the things that aren't alike will allow a algorithm of communication. Because right now it's identity. Like we just watched that Woodstock '99. The motherfuckers had no identity outside of like frat, da da da. And yeah, they probably just looked at Kobe as a basketball player. Just like they like the guy that was part of doing the taking the notes that wind up dying. Uh, all of the melanated groups that performed, he didn't give them a positive feedback.
And this is where the evolution of the consciousness, like this is why it's important for white people to, like, we hear white pride, right? And right now that has a negative connotation to it, but it's actually like when it's transmuted and when it's in a position of being calibrated, it's like it's using the term pride, I think, is the wrong terminology, like wordplay. But it's really just taking ownership of like, this is the trauma that my people have gone through. It is traumatizing to traumatize other people. And being able to take full accountability for the being able to take full accountability for the trauma that exists within your bloodline, no matter what it is. Being able to take full accountability for the trauma that exists in your bloodline is the work for all of us and all of our ancestors. And the way that it works, I mean, you can't, you have to claim your people, no matter who you.
We claiming assets and resources and land right now. Like that's why, like even with our child, that child is going to be looked at as an indigo child because we're educating the people on the star seed. What is it called? The star seed trust.
The star seed protection.
Yeah, the star seed protection. This is gonna, because even on your birth certificate they have like your nationality, your culture. Like if you don't know where your people come from, right, or if you don't have a connection point to your people, you're going to be searching all types of consciousnesses. And that's when this is why being a power leveler is so dope, because I have a good amount of years in corporate America
And
and not seeing color. I'm a fair skinned melanated person
yeah.
with decent hair, so like I'm not as threatening as a Kevin Garnett or
What do you mean decent hair?
what I mean by decent hair is like I got good hair, like my shit curly. What I mean by good hair is soft. Like people are attracted to it. They like
In terms of like the colonized society.
so like even whenever you do that, it's like it's.
I mean, I don't know what good hair means.
I'm just sharing it. I just told you
Like
my
hair is
hair
hair.
and similar like you watch you people. It's like hair isn't hair. There's documentaries on hair. These are antennas. People like my locks that some people may call them dreadlocks. They're not dreads. They're locks. Um, it's it goes back into like knowing. It's like having a good head of hair. Like my shit ain't receding. Like I don't have patches like this. Like
Like you got you. Like your hair is actively healthy, growing,
right,
receiving energy.
exactly. So it's like
Being able to communicate what the definitions are of good hair is, right? Because like by that definition, I have excellent hair as well.
absolutely like, and that's what people. That's the same thing with complexion. Like your complexion or it's your skin. Like you got an excellent set of skin.
Right.
It doesn't mean color per se, but it's like your skin
It's healthy. That you
right.
Yes.
Like it's smooth, it's soft. Like yeah, like it conducts energy transfer very well. Uh, or you're malleable.
And this also, this is an interesting conversation. That conversation starts going into, we both benefit from pretty people privilege.
Hell yeah!
So
I'm a very beautiful being, and you are too.
And so being able to speak on is like, well, we benefit from that perspective. We have that perspective, and good versus bad skin, like et cetera, et cetera. Like it's all relative to an individual's experience, but good or bad skin as relative to what the societal standards happen to be at that moment.
Your questions always get us like going. We like what you because we hear the undertoning in it, like because we listen to the sound of it.
Oh yeah, I
Yep.
question what definitions are of I just question definition.
Yep, and because we have a 369 approach, like that means I grew up in a domesticated system, but we grew up with rituals and magic of our ancestors because my grandfather put it in his children. He made sure we had it. So I explain myself usually in colonizer terminology. I'm learning how to call God Oludumare. Like I'll call him Jah, like the Rastas do. I'm learning that. This is a learned feature. I'm not going directly to like all is light or alien. No, I'm good. I'm taking my steps because I'm gathering people along the way. Like I'm Billy Carson. I'm the connection point between people that need to connect to Billy Carson that may not normally connect to them because they don't see where what he's saying is even relevant to their world.
Right. Even though
he's speaking of what we all are, right. and like knowing even with the projections of this matrix, like I like talking with these exchanges for the simple fact, like I was looking at the videos and I was just like, and this one you talked a lot more than the other one. I realized I was like, yeah, I was talking a lot. Like, because in those cases, I could be a good talker, but not a great communicator. Like, amazingly the big difference. And I learned that with my brother, because people think just because he don't talk that much that he's not a great communicator.
The essence of great communication is the ability to listen and actively seek to understand. Because it doesn't have to be a full comprehension, of course, because that's a perspective is a perspective. But I think that when it comes to great communication, the intention for communication is to equally express your perspective and also
Gain a perspective, POV.
yes, like learn a perspective because learning perspective ultimately it gives us more information to enhance ours, but it also by building that connection point on a quantum level, the energy exchange, it balances out and it doesn't bounce, but it balances and it grows as opposed to explodes. And both are necessary.
Yeah, that's what we was talking about with the
Both are
contrast. That's what we was talking about.
And I think the balance comes is when you seek to understand, but you don't allow yourself to be controlled.
Yeah, and that's what we say. Like your dad did very well at programming your vessel. Like he did an amazing job. What does your dad do for a living?
He's programming.
Okay,
And
the internet, right?
yeah, and he's like for a long time I considered him my best friend.
I'm like, yo, this is your best friend,
Yeah.
and when you decide to do the most important thing in your life that you've already been doing for the past, like I said, you didn't start Speak Freely, and when I showed up, you had already been in it. So similar to Rick and Morty, right? With the Rick creating the unlimited Mortys for his purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That's what societal norms may do. So like I always seek to under or to enter and over. I seek to get a standing of what's going on, and the moment I start seeing things or hearing things or feeling things that we've already ran across this before, I we look at it, we ask the question. Like I'm getting to the point now where I'm not giving my point without asking a question to gain clarity. It's like a bridge in communication. My Asperger's is like a disconnect between my thoughts and my emotions. Like I may speak from my heart without actually thinking it through, or I might speak from my head without having any emotions attached to it.
Mm.
And when you do that, right, it can be considered inconsiderate. It can be considered irresponsible. It can be considered a lot of shit. But I know it's how I've talked. Like I haven't changed how I talked since I've been around you. Like, but what I have done is become more conscious of the connection or the time that I need before I can communicate. Like, in communication is not just talking. So that's what, honestly, I know this live vulnerability day is talk. We started off talking a lot about like just our day, the baby. You actually we didn't even mention that like you're laboring right now, and like you're
I'm a
laboring.
trooper.
She's actively laboring right now, and
I would say I would say close to I would say close to laboring.
bruh, I know you wouldn't. You didn't have to. I'm telling you, you are though. Like that's the dope thing. The laboring process don't start when you get into the labor room or when you get into like it's a process. You
That
go
it
to
builds up.
yeah. Like when you said what you said to us, right? You gave us a set of sounds, and then you gave us some communications. Like I told you, your dad is heavily in this conversation. How many times we brought him up in the past 10 minutes?
Once.
3 at least. So like we told you we just throw stuff out to see if you can build upon it because you just said I wouldn't say. I'm not just. I wouldn't say no. I know you wouldn't say it because this is your first time doing it in this live stream. I'm sharing with you. You are laboring the cramping, like, and you're finding, you're searching. It's like a search engine. You're searching for things to answer. Why am my body doing this? Why my hips feel this way? Like you're very aware. Even my engagements with you, my Reiki, my energy work, or my body work. That's what the nasty doula Lisa call it. Body work. That bitch. See how I tie her in with your dad, with Brian McGrath, and all of those other less melanated vibrations? Because like when you realize the people, places, and things that take up space in your Akash, right? Your Akash right here, it creates a level of like I said, I'm a grief doula. Grief is like handling when people are losing something. Like you're losing this baby from being inside of you.
Mm.
That's what you asked to be.
No, it's a rites of passage. It's a whole nother portal.
Yep. So like, she's preparing for the pushing of the baby out, and
Whether it be within the next 72 hours,
96 hours,
or 2 weeks.
Right now, I don't see 2 weeks, nigga. You just threw that out there. It's like,
no, I was looking into some of the symptoms of it, and it's like
I don't see 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't feel 2 weeks.
Nah, bro. Like your body, look, like I see like a day or two in and around the time of the due date.
Yeah, give or take.
Bro, like I said, and I'm basing this off of my history with how my semen likes to come out of people.
In terms of how the baby likes to be born?
Bro, how my semen likes to come out of the body that it's in. Like once it's a plant, a seed, right? Ox has said this the other day. He said, what's more important, the seed or the egg?
Damn, homie.
Bruh. Yeah. Damn, homie, what?
Huh. I mean,
I know, right?
They're equally important.
They are. But like an egg can't fertilize itself. And they said, what is no, he didn't say what's more important, the seed or the egg. He said, what is a tree more of? The seed or the egg?
A tree?
Yep. Is it the seed or the soil? Which soil it transfers for egg? Because that's what you are. It's the egg that we have to fertilize. So if you put a seed into the ground and that seedling start to sprout,
it's different because soil doesn't have
it's the same
have
thing.
Half DNA.
It's this. It does.
It has the nutrients,
which is DNA. It's just like the word DNA just means nutrients. It's like there's molecules inside of that soil. Like when we start off, right? The cell.
I think that
there's cells in it.
I don't think that process actually aligns quite.
Yeah, I know you don't have to. This is me taking it back to my people. What are we talking? We talking about indigenous. Like, and that's what I'm sharing with you. I'm not.
I just don't think that the utilization of the egg as the soil is the same. It's like a.
But like it's an analogy. It's an antidote. It's a parable. You are in a mode.
No, I get that it's a parable. I'm just saying in terms of like as a the womb itself is the soil. Is what I'm saying. The placenta is the soil. The egg is like because trees have reproduction systems that are similar to the egg and the sperm. Like the womb would be a better analogy for the soil.
Whatever makes your brain feel comfortable with the analogy that I said. Because if I don't know what a placenta is, right, and I call it woman's belly, like it's like I'm giving you a statement from one of my people, and the question that he asks, what do you think is the tree is more of? Because that is the question, not what you just did on the back end.
I mean the tree has a different.
What is the tree more of, the soil or the seed? Like if we take off the DNA, take off the egg, take off the fertilizer.
But I don't think it's appropriate to equate the seed of the tree and the egg.
We said take it off. Just say soil, seed. What is the tree more of? Like I said,
but it creates an algorithm where of course it's more.
No, it's not. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be. Of course it is.
Because the soil
plays a part. If that seed lands on a bed of rocks, or it lands not embedded in the soil where it can gain the nutrients of the water and the microbiomes and the sun that's heating up the ground enough. If it doesn't get further enough into ground in enough darkness, then it won't
germinate. It won't gestate. So like I just asked, I just posed a statement, and because you dance, we just like when dancing comes up. Because I told you we already at the end. We're like we ready to wrap it up. Like we getting pulled on our back. Like you in full on defense mode of your dad, your best friend, and we're like, fuck this nigga, because he never pulls back. Like no matter how much I give him his credit for being a programmer or whatnot, he drives it in. And the question was just which was more the treat, and like they both are just as important in my book because like it's just a parable or analogy. But Ox, even would you say, oh, you know where Ox was going with that, and like, and Ox is very masculine in his deliveries.
And that's probably the energy. That's more of the energy that I'm engaging with.
Yeah.
Is that like feminine first?
Yeah. You.
But it's an equal balance, right? It's like ultimately they're both
masculine. You can say you can say that. Like that's the dopest thing about it. That's a choice.
Yeah, it's the law of gender.
So we enjoy. Um, we've enjoyed this expression. The vulnerability is to release the excess air, baggage, vibrational exchange of our prayers, our problems, our solutions, and our consciousness.
That was such a Rick moment.
Bruh, I love Rick, bro. I love Rick, and I love Morty and his forgiveness. Like, that's why Rick would make multiple Mortys, because he's so forgiving. Got that from the last episode. So, like, um, I'm gonna sit in the place where I can pray. Oya, Oshun, Obatala, Inodu, Olu, Dumade, Quetzalcoatl, and Thoth. Jerem, below, Melchizedek. Martin, Maya, Nina, Bumpy, what's up? I'm feeling you. I understand that our mind and our body stay true. I'm feeling you. It's okay to serve. It's okay to be worthy. It's okay to fear. But just know what you think about, you draw near. So I'm calling on my ancestors. What up, Josito? What up, Renee, Mona? What up, all those that didn't make it to this promised land of this now moment? What up, Kobe and GG2? I take a breath. 3, 6, 9. Breathing in for 3. Hold it for 6. And release for 9.
We are grateful. We are abundant. We are aligned with mission. As we allow the body to call in whatever they need. Everything.
Peace and blessings. As she call in what she need, as Imani, give us peace and stillness as we stay faithful and we stay in gratitude and forgive all those, our trespasses and debtors as they debt against us. We call in all of the desires, knowing that it get us higher. Yama, 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 no more time for the drama. Uh, Excited for the next several moments of before we can catch this baby and go on this journey. And all of the ancestors, I say Ashe, Aho, and Amin.
I mean, cheat.